And welcome to the hashtag IBM I everywhere. Today, I'm together with Denis Galvez, IT manager at Pan American Life Insurance Group. Thanks, Dennis, for joining.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome that you're. Normally, we're talking to U.S. based folks, and here you are out in Panama. So I really appreciate it, and also thank you for speaking in English, not Spanish.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on this series. I'm honored to be part of it. I think it's really great the job you're doing, within the IBMI community. So I'm all for it, to support it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. That's how this all began. There's so many people out there that need to know about the platform, and supporting it is part of the job. So, just really to start things off, I was looking at your background a little bit, and can you share a little bit with the crowd, like how you got introduced to IBMI platform, maybe like what drew you to it, and like what were your first impressions?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm an IT professional. I started working very, very early. I got my first job at Dell. And I worked there like 4 years or so. I wasn't even aware of the IBMI platform at that time. And then an opportunity got to me for working at HP, Hewlett Packard, and they were opening their first center here in Panama at that time. That was 2009, something like that. And they were hiring people to train on not only System I, AS400, but it was also mainframe, and they had a platform of their own called Nonstop. I'm not sure if you have heard of that. It's
I've
like
not.
the mainframe from them.
Oh,
So
really?
they kind of trained us, and I got to HP. They trained us on AS400, on mainframes and Nonstop. And from those groups, that were 30 something people, just a few of us, we're taking real advantage of all that knowledge. And I think I was one of those that got very interested on the IBM platform. And I got trained from Hewlett Packard on that. So that's strange, right? HP training on IBM technology to someone else. Yeah, but that happened. Back there, then they were giving support to customers. They were outsourcing all the services to customers, and that's how I started as a level 1 support for AS400, doing operator job like checking messages, checklists, backups, and stuff like that. And that's how I got in.
So that's amazing. I have a question for you. When you were going from, you had a choice between IBM I mainframe and the Hewlett Packard. Why did you choose IBM I to go down that path?
Well, let's say that I loved it from the very beginning. Besides, the customer that I was assigned had so many servers I didn't have any more time to support any other stuff. So it was like probably at that time 80 something LPARs that we were supporting daily. We were like a shift of 3 or 4 operators. So I got in love with the IBM, and plus the trainers that actually taught us on the platform. They were very, very friendly, and very, willing to pass all the knowledge, which is great. As a professional, that's one of the things that you have to do. And more with these technologies that are, that date from way back, and not a lot of people know. I was fortunate to have those trainers, and I basically liked the platform and everything about it.
That's awesome. And so you started off really, really from the bottom. And can you tell us like a little bit about your how you moved up over the years, over now you're the IT manager. How'd that happen?
Well, then so let's say that from Hewlett Packard, I got trained, but it was kind of basic stuff. And then I got promoted to, it was level 2 engineer. And then I started doing some installations, patching, changes of hard disk, and stuff like that. I wish I was a little bit more advanced, but still everything was remote support. Everything was outsourcing, calling, and over the phone, and monitoring. Then I got an opportunity on a company here locally in Panama that is a partner company. It's called GBM. It's a partner company from IBM. They were looking for support field engineers, they call them, that they
Yeah.
actually go support on site the customers. And since I had all the basis of the IBM I, but never seen a hardware before, I had to be trained on the hardware part. So basically GBM did me the favor of training me on the hardware part, and then I was also on the data center supporting all the data center equipment. So I got to learn a lot there of the IBM I platform, from unboxing the equipment when it arrives, and reading all the manuals, plugging everything, putting on the rack, and IPL in the system, installing the operating system, all the configurations, as far as also migrating from projects from customers or changing hardware and stuff like that. So that gives you a lot of experience on the IBM I field, and plus, the basis that I had from Hewlett Packard, that made me more and more even interested on the platform. People used to call you an expert when you go and reach when the ACE400 has a problem. Let's say a bank is down, something happened, you go, you fix stuff, and then you bring the equipment up. They call you an expert. I don't consider myself an expert, but an IT professional in the IBM I field. I guess that's where I got, to learn a lot on the field. And then I transitioned off the IBM I. I went to the administration part. I became IT project manager.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
kind of forgot for a couple of years from the IBM I, and I pursued the project management career. I got certified, agile stuff, Scrum and stuff like that. And I went that way for a few years. And then I was offered by another company where I'm at right now, Pan American Life Insurance, position for IT project manager. But they saw my resume that I had IBM I experience, and they said, "Hey, this guy is also capable of doing something else because we do have IBM I's too." So I was hired with two roles, basically IT project management and also another hat for IBM I support, let's say administration of security, third-party software and stuff like that. They do have a administrative person for all the IBM I. So that's how I got to Pali. Then I started to grow and got this IT manager position where I'm at right now, and I'm still involved in the AS400, and I call it AS400 because that's the name I like. I know it's IBM I, but I'm still involved on the AS400. So because most of our systems are AS400 based, so I'm still part of it, and my team is actually a development team of AS400 developers, and that I really, really appreciate and respect. They have a lot of experience on the platform. So, that's how I got here. And I'm still involved on the IBM I world, but as a manager now and kind of seeking for ways to improve what we have as far as IBM I.
Sure. And I think that's a really amazing story because you've done everything. You've gone from the developer role, which is a support role, now and then doing the hardware, then the manager, and now you are actually able to combine all those experiences and put into one. And it's a really
Yeah.
amazing thing. Good for you. And
And I started very young, something that I didn't mention. I'm not young anymore, but I started when I was 23. The IBM I. So that was the funny part, when I was 26, that I was going to support people, let's say at a big company that had a problem with the AS400. They were expecting an old guy, a senior person to go in and fix the AS400. And there goes this young guy, this kid to open the HMC and do stuff and everything. And people was like, "Are you the guy that knows this platform?" And I was, "Yeah, I know the platforms." It's been always funny to people ask me, how I got to know or got involved in these platforms being so young, but it was a nice adventure.
yeah, I mean, people ask me that all the time. I mean, I may not look it. I may look like I'm 17. I'm really 30, so we're in the similar boat. So I have a question for you is, talking about Panama and also like just Latin America in general, like what, because I'm normally speaking to IBMI folks out in the US or Canada. Like, can you tell me a little bit more about Panama and like the surrounding countries, like how many people are using the IBMI and perhaps like what are people trying to gather together to have user groups? What's that like for you guys? What's that landscape?
Well, I would say that not the same as US, but in LATAM, there are a few companies that run on IBM I. Is the thing is that, IBM, as they don't have a local presence here because IBM is not here in Panama. It's not on other countries either. I know it's in Colombia. They have presence in Colombia. But for those countries where there is no IBM presence, is a little bit struggling to gather people to get promoted events and stuff like that. So I think IT leaders like Diego Kesselman, which
Sure.
I'm part of the community that he's running, he's taking the lead on, putting together groups on Telegram, on other platforms, social groups to kind of compile the community and do good stuff, So I think that's more the way that it gets promoted here in LATAM that I know because I'm also not that into the communities, but the few that I have seen is more like led by IT professionals and not by a company or IBM itself. So, but yeah, there are groups too. But yes, and we interact and help each other and when it's necessary.
Looking back at your history of being in the service world, do you have any stories you wanted to share, or maybe highlighting some of the experiences you've had?
Well, I would say that more than yes, I may have a lot of stories because I was that guy that go fix the Ace 400 when it was down, when it's happening something. So I might have a lot of stories that I probably don't recall right now, but I would like to highlight the one of the things that I went through. It was a cyber incident at some point where there were Ace 400s, involved, and I would say because of the stability, the robust that the platform is, that and everything that makes the Ace 400 the way it is. Say it was kind of the one of the first systems that the cat marked safe after the recovery because
Oh,
they didn't find anything wrong with the Ace 400s, and that was really my first time in a cyber incident kind of event, and I was amazed the way that everything checked up, all the recoveries going through all the different system platforms, and everything was going in progress. We're still checking, and the Ace 400 was like, we're fine, turn it on.
that's awesome.
And that was great, and besides the IFS, part, you implement security well. There is nothing that you can make the Ace 400 vulnerable. You gotta save the IFS part with some very good software because that's really required. But I'm just glad to know the Ace 400 and how robust and secure it is when you implement the right practice, the best practices around security.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dennis. Really appreciate your time. This has been a wonderful thing. Thank you so much for joining today. And if anyone else wants to join us on the hashtag IBMI Everywhere podcast, the podcast to promote the IBMI platform, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Josh Bander. You can find me on LinkedIn, pretty out there. And thanks so much again, Dennis, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.